G'day whisky lovers, welcome to the Hard Malt channel. My name's Tim and today I've got my lovely bowl and spoon and I'm going to sit here and eat some whisky flavoured ice cream. Just kidding folks, actually what I'll be doing is making up a bit of a home blend whisky. Why would I do this, you might ask? Well, once you start collecting a few dozen different whiskies in the cabinet, you'll sometimes get to the stage where you'll find you've got 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 that just don't really see much love. They're just not hitting the spot for you for some reason, and rather than just let them sit in the cabinet for years and years and not get touched and just gather dust, the bottle's already open, so might as well play around and see what we can make. So I'm going to do a bit of a home blend today and using my brand new the Hard Malt blend can glass, and so the flavour I'm going for today, because it's important to have some idea of what you want to put together when you're doing a bit of a home blend. So today I'm thinking I want something with a bit of sherry, hopefully a bit of smoke, and not overly sherry but somewhat balanced. So what I've got is, I'm going to start with this Starwood PX cask. Now the reason why this one is going into a home blend is it's just not hitting the spot for me. I hoped it would. It's a full PX cask maturation, but yeah, there's just something not quite hitting the spot for me. So could be just there's a tad of bitterness that's not doing it for me. However, the sherry flavour is there, and having said that, sherry wise, I'd say I'm more of an Oloroso fan rather than PX, so that could also be why this one hasn't really been all that loved by me. So what I'm going to start with is some 2.5 ml pours using this half teaspoon measure, and I'll give it a bit of sherry, so I'll put 2 pours of this in the glass. Let's see how we go with my very steady hand. There we go, so I've got two measures of this. Now I'll just let the spoon sit there and pop this one to the side for now. Now what else have I got to put in here? Well, I've got this Glenmurray Rioja cask from their Warehouse 1 collection. Now this, it's not too bad. It's not really my flavour preference. If this had have been the peated version, which there is a peated version of this, I probably would have enjoyed that much more. And actually I did get to try that at the whisky show this year, and I would say that I preferred the peated version much more than this one. Now, being that this is cask strength, I'm just going to put 1 measure of this one in, and plus we don't want to overpower the sherry with the Rioja, so I think just adding a little bit of this, we will start to make a bit of an interesting blender. Now, what else am I going to put in here? Now I did say I want some smoke, didn't I? So I've got this Danish single malt from Storning. This is their smoke release, which is made with smoked heather, as opposed to straight peat. Now I do actually enjoy this bottle, so I'm not going to sacrifice a lot of it for this blend, so I'm just going to put, and plus I don't want to overpower anything with the smoke. So again, I'm just going to go for 1 measure of this, or maybe just slightly under. So that is a little bit of smoke in there. Let's just see. Yeah. Now what I've got is got some Fuji single blended whiskey. Now this one I don't mind having now and then when I can't really decide what I want from the cabinet. I might just pour a cheeky one of these and sit there and sip away. Being that this is only 43% though, I don't really want to leave it open for years on end in the cabinet. The reason being that the higher the strength, the better the whiskey will actually fare over time. So anything 46% and over, you can happily keep in the cabinet for years on end, as long as it's sort of stored out of sunlight, you know, a cool, dry place, and looked after. So I'm going to use this just to, it'll give it a little bit of light spice and just to look, round out the body a little bit. So I'm just going to put 1 measure of this in. Now I've got a port expression from Timboon Distillery. Now I actually have the cask strength version of this bottle, which I will review probably shortly actually. This is the regular strength, which somebody gifted me the small bottle, and if I can figure out how to open it, just had to sneak away and use some utensils to get this one ready to open. But here we are. So just to add to the sherry, we're going to chuck a little port matured whiskey in there. And then I've got some Ardnamurchan cask strength, which this one, it's taken me a long time to get through this bottle. I'm not sure whether I just got a bad bottling or what's happened, because I don't seem to get all the flavours that everybody else does from this particular release. Hence it's taken me a long time to get the bottle down that far. So I'm going to use this just to help beef up the percentage of this blend. And it's probably about 1.5 measures there. And while we're on discussing beefing up the strength of it, I'll just give that a little bit of a stir. I'm going to let this sit for a couple of minutes. So since I mentioned beefing up the strength, or the ABV, what I'm going to use at the end of this is there's a couple of websites that I've found where you can put in the list of the spirits or mixes or different alcohols that you've used, the quantity along with their strength, and the website will actually calculate the final strength of your finished product, whether that be a cocktail or a blended whiskey or whatever it might be that you're mixing up. So I will share a link to that in the description, and I will put a snapshot at the end of the video once I calculate the strength of this one. Now let's just see. It's had a few minutes to sort of marry together. A little bit of smoke from the stoning is coming through, which is nice. It might actually be assisting the Ardnamurchan to show some of its peat smoke as well. So that's interesting. I can detect the port that's coming from the timboon. Could be a bit of the Rioja cask as well. So I'm going to have a bit of a taste and then decide if I've got the ratio right and do I want to add anything else. At the moment, the nose is quite enjoyable. I can taste different layers from the Rioja cask, the port, and actually I could probably use a bit more of the sherry cask. So what I might do is I'm going to add a little bit more of the starwood. So that will make a total of three measures of the PX starwood that's gone into this. So now just get that extra measure of PX cask to mix in. Yeah, now I think the sherry's about the right ratio for what I was after for this blend. You're getting a bit of that that fruit and the slight chocolate notes coming through. Now that's not too bad now. I would like a little bit more smoke though. So let's just get a little bit more of this Stauning smoke. So what have I got? I've got 3 measures of the PX, 2 measures of the Stauning smoke, and then I've got 1 measure each of the Glenmorangie, the Timboon, the Ardnamurchan and the Fuji. Yeah, that's more like it on the nose for me. It's not heavily smoked at all, but I like to be able to just detect it in amongst the sherry, the Rioja and the port. Now that's actually something that's a lot more interesting to drink than any one of these by itself. And as I said, some of these bottles will probably sit in the cabinet forever, but now at least if I blend these up, they might actually get drunk. So might I. Now let's bring over my secret weapon over here and let's calculate the strength. Let this open up. And while it's booting up, have another sip. Alright, so Starwood, which is 48%. Put 3 measures, so that is 7.5 mils. 0.5. The storing, which I've put 5 mils total because it was 2 measures, and this one is, where are we, 47%. Then I have the Glenmurray, which was 2.5 mils, single measure, and it is 59.8%. 59.8. Ardnamurchan, again this was a single measure, so 2.5. And this one is 58.4. And I have the Timboon, which is 45%. And that was a single measure, so 2.5 mils, 45%. And then lastly we have the Fuji, which is 43%, and that again was 2.5 mils. So my calculated ABV for what's in the glass is 49.36%. So, and again, I will share a snapshot of this at the end of the video. And I'll share the link. So anybody else who wants to have a go at home blending, absolutely can, and share your results. Share what kind of mix you like to put together, and why. And yeah, perhaps we'll all get to share some different recipes. Now the last thing that I will do eventually is I'll use my measuring jar to then put together a larger volume of this particular mix. And I've got my spare empty Kilkerran glass bottle, which I'll relabel and reuse. It's all about recycling. So yeah, I'll be able to put together my own little hard malt blend, and I'll also put some in some little sample bottles that I've got that I can share out to friends and family as well. So there you have it, folks. A little bit of something different today. We didn't get to the ice cream, sorry about that. But here we are with a hard malt blend, Slanjava.